I make art. So every day it's a little bit different, I would say. Mir geht's gut, danke. I want to live the dream soon.
Who is Lorena is the question.
Yeah, I guess there's different personalities that I have. I was studying in Berlin to become a teacher for Spanish and English, and I was already working as a teacher part-time, and I did my thesis and all. And that was 2 years ago that I graduated, and then I was a bit twisted. Like I had a job offer to go to teach in Malaysia, but then I'm like, okay, let's take a holiday to Spain. And yeah, that 10-day holiday ended up being 1.5 years of me staying in the Canary Islands. And yeah, then I had to improvise. Like I got a digital nomad job. I worked in customer service and I babysat a little bit. I enjoyed also going to art markets and I met a lot of like local artistic friends, I would say. And I was always admiring them for like being able to travel the whole time and like discover the world through their art, like making jewelry at all. And then I'm like, okay, what is my passion? Because I liked teaching, but it was kind of too much responsibility for my age. And I was always feeling like the teenagers, I wanted to be them. I didn't want to be a strict.
So for the past 3 years, you've had a bit of a ride, some sort of a diverse conquest for jobs, I would say.
I guess, yeah, like I quit my customer service job a year ago, also because of an intervention that my friends did, because I was mostly like depressed. Like, of course, I went scuba diving on the weekends, like, I can't really complain, but I kind of couldn't do this 8-hour shift on the computer. Like, I was too energetic for that. And I always had this passion for like vintage and secondhand clothes. Like, it started already like when I was 15 or so that I went to flea markets and I wanted to like create a unique style. And then I just like started hunting down all the charity shops in the Canary Islands and
Wow.
I created like pop-up sales in bars. Yeah.
And that's how you got into vintage clothing, is that correct?
Exactly. Like it was first just a reselling of clothes that I found on the islands or that I got through donations. And then like after 2 months of selling in this bar that always had live music and already like musicians wearing my clothes. And it was also surprising, like my clothes were in the music video. And then I had the chance to ride a camel and shoot on it with my clothes. Like it was all very exciting, like meeting DJs and all.
That's amazing.
And yeah, then I was just like sitting in my studio. Yeah. So I'm German, like I'm from the south of Germany, from Bavaria, but I kind of left my home when I was 19. I lived for a year in Ecuador, was working as a teacher. And then I kind of like was okay, I like this language. I like how languages connect people. What can I do with it? And then I went into teaching.
So what culture do you think you belong to?
For sure, like these days, because I'm producing clothes here at Taylor's, I'm kind of noticing, okay, I really have my German culture when it comes to business, that I just like think in German and I'm like, oh, in Germany, this would be different. But then I've lived abroad already for like 4 or 5 years that I like really have also this inner critic inside, like, Lori, chill, you're in a different country, people are different. So for sure, like there is a German in me, like the way I'm working, like my father was very hardworking, my mom as well. So I'm kind of raised in a way like, okay, you work for what you get. Yeah, like you can go on a holiday and have all these luxuries if you work hard. And then, of course, like I've lived in Spain, so I think there's a little Latina inside of me too.
That's an interesting mix. I'm gonna go on and ask you about stereotypes. Like, is it true that German people are cold?
I think you could definitely say that some Germans have some sort of ice blocks that the longer you take to get to know them, the softer they get. And they have like a bit of a boundary at first. Like it's definitely, for example, compared to Arab culture or Indian culture, which I'm currently experiencing, or also Latin American culture, it's not like opening the door for everyone. Like you have your family, but then you have certain stereotypes about other people and you're a bit more careful, I would say.
And as for the Indian culture that you're experiencing right now, what's the most impressive difference that you noticed from German culture?
The sense of time that most Indians have, like the meaning of tomorrow and the compulsion of certain deadlines, that it's very different to what I'm used to. That is what I'm currently experiencing.
Is it that people value time less than in Germany?
I just think like it's polite to say yes and they want to do or want to do the job or they want to get it done. Like, for example, now that I'm producing a collection of kimonos out of fabric that I find in the trash, I bring them all the fabric, I explain to them what goes where, I tell them, okay, please make 7 kimonos. They're like, okay, we take 5 days. Then I come after 5 days and 1 is done. And they're like, sorry, ma'am, sorry, ma'am. You know, like you can't be mad at them. I guess that's kind of a bit difficult for me. Like, I'm wondering, why didn't you call me, you know?
What's your favorite meal?
Yeah, like in India at the moment, it's the aloo paratha, which is like some sort of pancake or wrap that has like potato inside, and you eat it like with a yogurt dip. It's just very simple and cheap in the morning to start your day like that, and then you get like a fresh juice or some masala chai. So that's kind of my to-go food. But then, yeah, like I'm German, so 3 weeks ago there is this like Bavarian restaurant here a bit far from where I live. And I made a friend of mine go with me and I ordered like the typical dip, which is like some camembert cheese with paprika spice. And I ordered this like black bread and I'm like, finally, I'm back from Germany. And there was like this whole image of the bretzel, which is like a local pastry that we have. And I like made him take a lot of pictures of me and like a cherry pie dessert, and I'm like, oh, finally. I did go to Egypt 5 years ago to see my friend that she was studying at Cairo University or something.
Okay.
Back then, I wasn't a scuba diver yet, but I'm definitely interested in going to the Red Sea and all. And I have this very dear friend in Tunisia, bless her, if she listens to this, that she's been sending me pictures of this antique Tunisian fashion. And she's been telling me, it's so cheap, you need to come, you need to come. And I'm like, yeah, Ines, like, I'll make it, you know? But it's just like these clothes, it's somehow it's cool and everything, but it's still such a weight on me because at the moment my studio and my production is traveling with me. So it's quite horrid to change the country and it has to be planned in advance. But for sure, like once an online shop is there or once I'm a bit more like settled, I'll explore different parts of the
Amazing.
world.
What are some of your stereotypes about the Egyptian culture or the Middle Eastern culture?
I do have to say that this trip to Egypt is still in my mind as one of the most, yeah, let's say, crucial moments of experiencing patriarchal society. I have to admit, I saw both sides, right? Like, I have also some Egyptian friends in Berlin, and I know that there's a younger, more liberal culture. But I did go around Khan el Khalili on my own, and I did end up buying camel milk cream for way too much money and getting also a marriage proposal, which I didn't want. The moment I bought the camel milk, and then at home, I like tried it and it was all sticky and I didn't even like it, you know? So, yeah, kind of like I just saw as a white woman, or even in that moment, I was quite young still, traveling alone through the capital, maybe might not have been the best idea for my own, I wouldn't say safety, like I didn't feel threatened, but I just didn't want to like over explain myself. And I tend to get quite aggressive if I get like flirtatious remarks.
Right.
See everything as a learning experience, let's put it like that. And now here in India, like what's really helping me is when these remarks come. And here also I get a lot like, hey, do you have a baby? Are you married? Where are you from? That I just literally like repeat the question to them, or I'd make them even more uncomfortable. Like if it's in a bus, I'll give like a speech on uh, underprivileged women and everything. A global thing and
I understand.
intersectional for sure as well. Like it's important that everyone makes a contribution, especially men.
If I were to ask you about one thing that you love about Germany, what would you say?
How clean it is, like the streets, how clean they are, and that there is a big order in the landscaping.
I want to ask you about your hobbies and what you do, like besides the amazing vintage clothing stuff.
Well, I'm a scuba diver normally, like when I'm in the Canary Islands, I do it like 3 times per week, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I've been trying to go to the Indian Islands. It's just a bit more complicated because they're protected, and you need some special kind of registration form, and that's something. And then I really love good music. I like dancing. A big topic in my biography is that I'm sober. Like I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke it up. Then also like one of my hobbies is psychology. Like I do kind of enjoy having different backgrounds of people next to me and also challenge my own boundaries and like seeing how I can help others. Yeah. And
That's
recently
amazing.
it's been picking trash and making clothes out of it.
Like recycled trash that you make clothes out of it?
No, like literally, like I go around on the scooty here in India and I find like pieces of old fabric on the streets and I bring it to the laundry and I tell my tailor, please make it into a design. Like sometimes even going into the trash, like in India, like at least here where I'm living, there is a recycling, but some people are not yet so conscious of where to put the waste. So, for example, close to the petrol station, there's just a lot of cloves in the bushes. So sometimes I just like consciously go there and pick all the fabric. And it has connected me also to like local waste management. And I even get clothes deliveries now of people finding fabric in the trash. So it's really like amazing how it's happening. Yeah. And who knows, maybe one day I have a team and I don't have to go pick the trash myself.
I love the mix between you making clothes out of it, you making business out of it, and at the same time you're helping pick up the trash and cleaning up. So I think it's a very beautiful, environmentally friendly campaign. You know what I mean? So keep it up. Why did you choose being sober?
Basically, when you go to the psychology of an addiction, it's usually people escaping from something or any kind of consumption. Like, why do we watch TV? Because it's an opium. Like, we can relax, we don't have to focus on our own lives. Why do we travel? Because we want to escape. And I guess with drugs and substances, it's like on another level because we feel we need to be more fun, we need to loosen up, we need to reward ourselves. And my personal history is like I started drinking pretty early, like when I was 15, though the legal drinking age in Germany for beer and wine is 16. And since I am from Bavaria, there were a lot of like local festivities, which included wearing short dresses and binge drinking beer. And it wasn't always so pleasant. Like I had a lot of blackouts and embarrassments, and like I kind of like didn't really care. And yeah, there were some rumors conjuring up, and I just always had this kind of negative feeling with alcohol. Like I already saw myself, okay, Friday, Saturday for sure, I'm gonna like be drunk, you know, and like make some new expeditions. And then like even with traveling, it kept going. And then just like, I don't know, I just kind of realized that I don't want to be that fragile anymore. Like I don't need alcohol to have like fun, and I'd rather be like protected, safe and sound and aware of what I'm doing. And yeah, even sometimes I don't sleep so much. Like usually I sleep 5, 6 hours and I have a bit of an insomnia ongoing. So I would say sometimes I'm not 100% there mentally when people speak to me. But for sure, I kind of, yeah, first it was like 1 month, okay, then it was 2 months, then I'm like, okay, 3 months, 6 months, and now it's been 4 years, and I've done all the situations, like the first date, the first Christmas, and people know it now, like they get a non-alcoholic drink for me, but like new people, especially like in bars or with my kind of work, they bring me beers or they offer me a joint, and yeah, like every day it's a criticism. I say no, 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 no. But yeah, I hope to also inspire others with that because I know that sobriety is a journey, like hiking a mountain and going down and getting up again.
That's inspirational. And you're German. That kind of breaks. I don't mean to sound stereotypical, but that kind of does break a big stereotype. What is your dream?
I guess my dream at this point is just to like make a way of living where I don't have to effectively work so much. Like I would like to only work like 4 to 6 hours every day. So I guess once I have my online shop or I have my clothes in more shops all over the world, I should be able to do that. And I have a lot of more hobbies. Like I would like to have an animal shelter or even like employ local people to do also some social work here in India. Like I guess first it's about generating the income, and once you have the income, you can actually decide which charity you want to do or which projects you want to support.
Are you religious?
Yeah, I was raised, I would say Catholic. Like my grandma, she was very religious, and even my dad and my mom. It's just this thing in Germany that people, I would say over 25, leave the church because you have a high income tax on it. But still in Bavaria, people are, I would say, Christian. Like, of course, there's different nuances to it.
Like, what do you mean they leave the church because it has a high income tax? What does that mean?
Well, you are officially registered in the church, like let's say Protestant or Catholic, and a certain amount of money of your salary has to go to church each month.
You lose your religion literally just because it's like costly.
Well, a lot of people do that. So I do know that every religion overlaps and that there's basic morals that you can find everywhere and that nothing should be too extreme. So I guess I do pray every once in a while, also to honor my ancestors that recently passed. But I would not say that I'm strictly religious. Like I try to be a morally correct person. I try to be kind. But yeah, you can't give me a religious label.
Interesting. You've also elaborated on the fact that you're holding your own morals and values, and even though you're not that religious, but like the morals and values of being humane is what's important sometimes. Is there anything you would like to share?
Yeah, I would just want to like motivate everyone to reuse what they already have at home, to give it a rethinking also, like not only like rearranging something to also tidy up the mind, but also maybe like before they throw away something to make something cute and new about it, and to also collaborate more, like be kind to each other and spread your energy and love. And yeah, by that, hopefully, we can be in a more peaceful environment.
The magic statement from Lorena.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much for making the time again. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Much for the invitation and for the time you took, and also for, yeah, for giving me these questions that made me also like think about my project. Yeah, super cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lorena.